I'm Ollie Collins and welcome to the Link Sports Show, where we're bringing you the latest sports news around Lincoln, and we'll also be discussing the biggest stories around the country. Joining me in the studio are Link Sport reporters Kieran Hymas and Daniel Kahn. On tonight's show, we'll be looking ahead to big FA Cup clashes for Lincoln City and Lincoln United this weekend, as well as discussing some of the biggest national stories of the week. We'll start this evening with Lincoln City. The Imps take a break from league action this weekend when they take on Guiseley at Sincil Bank in the FA Cup. Manager Danny Cowley has welcomed the break from league action.
We love the FA Cup, it's a great competition, greatest cup competition in the world. So no, it's always a game that we look forward to, and I think it does come at a nice time. We're 10 weeks in, 15 games in, the league, this division is always a tough start, a lot of games in a short space of time, so I think it comes at a good time. Allows us to put the challenge of the league to one side.
Guiseley have won 2 games in a row, Kieran. How do you see the game going?
Well, it's going to be very difficult, especially after coming out of a frustrating result, Bromley drawing. They were leading up to 60 minutes and then obviously they drew level. I think that they can recover from it. They've got some key players in that team. Harry Anderson scored 2 in as many appearances, and he's definitely proven his worth since he got loaned from Peterborough. They've also got Nathan Arnold. After that injury scaring midweek, it's nice to know that he's going to be there on the weekend. He's got a big squad. He's had some new additions. There is going to be some people that are missed, such as Tom Champion, obviously being ineligible to play. However, I think that they'll be able to recover from that. They've got a lot of squad to choose from, and I think he can come out with a result.
And Dan, the FA Cup, do you think it would be a help or a hindrance to City's league form?
I don't think you can ever say the FA Cup's a hindrance. I mean, Danny Cowley said in his press conference today that the FA Cup's magic, so I think that shows you how important it is to him, in his first match as Imps boss. So I think, he'll be looking obviously to win the game and to progress into the first round of the FA Cup proper.
And you can't forget, obviously, that he's got such a good record in the FA Cup, obviously taking Concord Rangers to such high heights. And I think this is really a cup competition that's dear to Danny Cowley, and he'll definitely want to prove himself again in a new club.
And it'll be quite interesting to see, how Cowley tinkers with this side, because Macaulay Bourne has just finished his loan spot at the club, and they just signed Theo Robinson. So, will he kind of put in Robinson from the beginning to play off Matt Reed? I'm not quite sure. With, like you said, Arnold and Anderson in quite good form. They could be the kind of supporting firepower for Reed. We'll just have to see, but it's quite exciting.
I mean, how fantastic would it be if we could have Lincoln United and Lincoln City both in the first round?
I don't think we could ask for anything more.
Cowley also discussed the topic of replays in the FA Cup. He's in favour of scrapping them and would prefer ties to be finished on the day.
I think it's a cup competition. For me, I would have it on one game, extra time, penalties. Yeah, make it. I think that's great for the supporters and great for everybody. Particularly at a higher level when you're asking now the Premiership players to then go and play European Championships and World Cups in the summer. If we could reduce the amount of games that they play, then maybe we could do a bit better in those competitions. So I definitely think the FA could help England in that respect. How much it's their decision and the club's decision. I suppose a lot of the clubs like the additional revenue, so I can see it from that point of view as well. But no, I would scrap them. I would also allow every team to play multi-ball, which you can only do in the semi-final and final. John Vickers and I were looking at the rules, and being honest, John Vickers was very critical of the FA. Not me. But what John was saying is that why can you only do it in the semi-final and the final? That is ridiculous. So you play all these games all the way up, and then you get to the semi-final in the FA Cup, and then that becomes a multi-pool system, and in the final, so the whole dynamics of the game change. Then in the FA Trophy, you can't do it at all until the final. And it's just, I don't know, I just want to know why that rule was in place. For me, being a school teacher, I'm quite interested in rules. And rules are always there for a reason, but some of the rules are just crazy to me, and I just don't understand the justification of having a rule. If you have the rules there for a purpose, and I just sometimes don't understand where these rules come from.
It's an interesting topic, guys. Dan, what are your thoughts on FA Cup replays?
I think you can't deny that as magical as the FA Cup still is, that some teams still aren't taking the competition as serious as we'd like to see it. I think, the kind of bringing in penalties, even after 90 minutes, I think teams would be more inclined to play their strongest teams from the beginning. I mean,
it's a little bit dangerous for teams lower down the divisions. Obviously, they're playing a lot more games than Premier League teams as it is. And I just feel like if it was that it was decided on the day, then you wouldn't have that case where they're getting a lot more injuries. As good as it is to test managers, when they haven't got the kind of funds to do the kind of treatment that the other teams might be able to, I just feel like it would really help out those low league sides, possibly to even go a little bit further and challenge at the top of the FA Cup, which would be, extremely exciting.
Also in FA Cup action this weekend are Lincoln United as they take on Spennymoor Town. United haven't reached the first round in 19 years, but are just one win away from putting an end to that. Manager Sam Wilkinson described what it would be like for the club to reach the first round.
Well, it'd be an unbelievable achievement, to be honest. Not just from the players, but from where the club was maybe 5 or 6 years ago when the new board come in. It'd be such a big thing that it's a day that we want. Everyone wants at Lincoln United. It'd mean so much to say the people who started it off, the players, the management, the tea ladies who work in the canteen, just everybody. So it's going to be a nervy day, but we're going to try to make sure we enjoy the day as well.
It will be the third cup game in a row for the Whites. They drew 2-2 with Romulus in the FA Trophy last Saturday before beating them in Tuesday night's replay after extra time. How do you see Saturday's game going for Lincoln United then? Because they played on Tuesday night, obviously, and managed to win.
It's obviously going to be testing in terms of they haven't really got the kind of squad depth that a Football League side's going to have. However, they've got a lot of confidence coming through, and the fact that they showed the morale from the 2-2 draw, where it was very frustrating, they conceded in the very late minute, to then go and do the exact same to Romulus really shows how much morale is in that team and how much confidence, and they'll be playing on adrenaline, because if they get to the first round proper, that's the dream for a lot of those lads. They've got some really key players. Jack McGovern's on fire, he can't stop finding the net, and I really think that Lincoln United have just as much chance as anyone else.
And Dan, Gresley at home in the next round?
Yeah, I think you can't underestimate though the impact of a player playing 120 minutes, and also they played quite a competitive game in the 2-2 draw on Saturday against Romulus. So that will be quite difficult on the players. It is very dependent on how they recover for Saturday. But like Kieran said, hopefully they'll be kind of running on adrenaline and they'll be forgetting that when they step foot on the pitch, and they'll be so excited to perform for all the fans.
Kieran, you were there on Saturday. What did you make of the game?
I was really impressed. The amount of pressure that they put on Romulus completely kept them out of the game. Romulus had some good players by the looks of things, good individuals, but they just weren't allowed to get behind the defence. The team, there was some obvious starlets in the team, but I can't really go into them because no one on the team disappointed. They all worked together to create a real cohesive unit, and Romulus just couldn't seem to break them down. If they can take that kind of form into this game, then I've got no doubt that they'll be able to walk away the victors.
United now 8 games unbeaten. Dan, how do you see it going at the weekend?
I mean, that'll give them a lot of confidence. Won't it? 8 games, that would give any side a lot of confidence going into a big FA Cup tie. I definitely think, with them having home advantage, I think that's a big help. But it'll be a fantastic atmosphere at Ashby Avenue. Spennymoor are going to bring around 180 fans. I mean, that's incredible for an away game for the FA Cup. So it should be an amazing, day at Ashby Avenue, shouldn't it?
Definitely.
Well, guys, it would be great to see both of them in the hat on Monday. Now to one of the biggest national stories of the past week. Boxer Tyson Fury has had his licence revoked by the British Boxing Board of Control. He's also vacated his WBO and WBA World Heavyweight titles, citing his mental health as a reason for being unable to defend them. Earlier we spoke to former Lincoln-based boxer Lee Swaby. He fought Fury in 2009 and isn't surprised by recent events.
I knew it was coming. I'm surprised it wasn't sooner than this, if I'm strictly honest. Just because, like I say, the pressure is immense, and he knows. He says himself he's not been in the gym in the past 3 or 4 months, and that's no way to be a world champion.
I'd like to see him take maybe another year out, because he's still only young. He's only taken a year out to now because he's not defended. Now he needs to take a further year out, in my opinion, to get his head right. Get his head straight, know what he's doing, why he's doing it, when he's doing it.
Dan, do you think he'll ever be able to make a comeback to boxing?
It's quite difficult. Tyson Fury is, whether you love him or hate him, he is a very controversial figure. We have to hope that he can recover from his mental issues such as depression. First of all, I think that's the most important thing before we even consider, his return to boxing. I think, and then when you do look at the boxing side of things, you also have to think, will someone want to fight Tyson Fury? Instead of saying who Tyson Fury may fight, I think you have to consider, will people want to fight someone who is controversial, who doesn't mind saying, you know, what they think of their opponent in a very rude kind of way. I think, you know, that's the big issue for Tyson Fury. He's made himself almost, you know, non-approachable for a fight, I think.
I don't think it's so much people not wanting to fight Fury as well. It's whether or not he's going to be in the state of mind later, even if he does recover from this depression, which we all hope he does. It's whether or not he's going to want to get back into boxing. Obviously, this must be something to do with what's happening, I would assume. And it's whether or not he's going to want to make that return. I imagine that the doors may open some way down the line, but it's up to him at the end of the day.
But what an opportunity it could be for Anthony Joshua, who is tipped to fight Vladimir Klitschko now and take Tyson Fury's place. I mean, personally, I think it's too early in his career to take such a fight, because I think, you know, the standing in the kind of the level Klitschko's at, I just think Joshua would be a bit foolish to take the fight. I think it's a step too far. But, you know, he was in London, you know, just 4 years ago, winning a gold medal. So what a journey it's been for the last 4 years.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's in sad circumstances that they're getting these opportunities, but the fact that we've now got people ready to step up and fight for those titles is, you know, it's great for the viewers. Obviously, it's not too great for Fury, but hopefully he can take a break, decide what he wants to do, and hopefully move forward.
Well, certainly it's a story to follow over the next few weeks and months. Jessica Ennis-Hill, who won heptathlon gold at the London 2012 Olympic Games, has retired from athletics. The British athlete had suggested she may call time on her career after winning silver at the Rio Games back in August, but has now confirmed her exit from the sport. The 30-year-old was one of the 3 British athletes to win gold on Super Saturday back in 2012. She explained her decision on social media, where she thanked her family and incredible team for enabling her to achieve her dreams. The golden girl of the 2012 Olympic Games, surely her fans are going to miss her.
Oh, for sure. But, you know, first of all, what an inspiration she is. She started her career by people telling her she couldn't compete in the heptathlon, she was too short. And since then, 2 world championships, 2, you know, Olympic medals, gold in London, silver in Rio. She's an inspiration and retires as one of the greatest athletes in Great British history.
The fact that she has been able to go against all the odds in the first time with the height, and then the second time she started a family. So, you know, that's a lot to take on, and to think that she's managed to get herself back in shape, commit to that level of training, and managed to get a silver medal is really impressive. She is an inspiration to not just women, but all athletes around the UK. And I think that she'll leave a mark on British athletes and the Olympics for a very long time.
Absolutely. Well, that's everything for today's show. Thank you to Kieran and Dan for joining me. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter on @LinkSport and let us know what you thought about the show. We'll be back next Thursday, hopefully discussing some first round ties for Lincoln City and Lincoln United. Goodbye.